Shut up, Ace.
Salutations, Internet! My name is Ace, and happy holidays! Yes, it is the most wonderful time of the year, and I'm feeling pretty festive. So much so that I wanted to look at one of the holliest and jolliest games I've ever seen. One that has bricks, rainbows, and explosions! What game is this? Well, it is none other than Hyper Princess Pitch.
Hyper Princess Pitch,
Or as I like to call it, Michael Bay the video game,
is a freeware game for the PC made by Daniel Remar. Who is this guy?
Well, if you didn't see my first video talking about his most popular game, E.G., Daniel Remar is a game developer that developed many games by himself back in the mid-2000s.
He now is a game developer at Ludosity, but still from time to time makes freeware games. The game Hyper Princess Pitch is actually a spin-off of another one of his games, Garden Gnome Carnage. I checked this game out, and it's fun, but there's not much to say. Well, I can't say it has an amazing mashup of retro holiday songs that I can't help but bob my head to, but in all honesty, this is just a silly little arcadey game where you, as a garden gnome, try to keep elves from delivering presents to a building by being a giant green garden gnome wrecking ball of destruction. How does this connect to Hyper Princess Pitch? Well, other than the holiday-themed destruction, Princess Pitch appears in the game. How does she appear? I don't know. Apparently she gives you airstrikes, but for the life of me, I could not figure out how to get her to appear. I just took this footage of her from the trailer. Anyways, enough about Garden Gnome Carnage, let's talk about what this video is really about, Hyper Princess Pitch. The game begins with Princess Pitch explaining to us that every Christmas, Mecha Santa and his robotic elves deliver presents to all good boys and girls. However, Princess Pitch has never once gotten any presents from him. Tired of receiving nothing for the holidays, she sets out with her faithful companion, Catstrike, to Mecha Santa's workshop to end his merry gift giving.
And that's it for story. It's not really a plot-heavy game.
The game is a top-down shooter with pretty simple controls. You move Princess Pitch around using the arrow keys, shoot her weapon with the X key, and switch between different weapons with the Z key. If you hold down the X key, Princess Pitch will continuously shoot. This will lock in the direction you're facing, allowing you to dodge enemies and projectiles while shooting. Your weapons include the Brick Launcher, which has infinite ammo and pushes enemies back slightly, the Ice Thrower, a short-range blast that can destroy most bullets, and the Rainbow Laser, which can bounce off walls. Now while Hyper Princess Pitch is a spin-off of Garden Gnome Carnage, its gameplay is actually based off an old DOS game, Operation Carnage. I took a look at this too, and boy did it take me back. Back to the days of floppy disks and trackball mice. It was a little slow, probably due to my computer, but all around it was a fun game. The gameplay consists of going room to room, destroying everything you see, and moving on to the next room to do the same. After completing a few rooms, you'll eventually make it to a boss fight. Princess Pitch is pretty much exactly like Operation Carnage, from controls to gameplay, power-ups, and even enemies. It's just half as long. Hyper Princess Pitch is a pretty short game, only having 4 levels, but there's quite a bit of replayability. Each level contains multiple routes to get to the level boss. In one room, you could face nothing but bullet-shooting bulbs, while in another, you'll have to take down sleighs and hat snakes. There are quite a number of enemies to destroy, like mecha elves, tops, trains, and scythes? Despite the large variety, enemies fall into one of 2 categories. Those that Zerg rush you, and those that randomly move around shooting at you. There are also a handful of mini-bosses that you'll fight. Each different route contains one, and they range from comedically easy to why is this suddenly a bullet hell? The level bosses...
The level bosses put up a bit more of a challenge.
Yes, they most certainly do.
Nope, not this time. You stick to your own videos.
But I'm the expert on boss fights.
I don't need an expert on boss fights. They're not the focus of this video, and I'm more than capable of talking about simple bosses like these.
Fine, but I get to make the next 2 videos.
Fine, whatever.
So yeah, the boss fights put up more of a challenge, but are still pretty simple. The Ultra Slay just fires a lot of bullets, the Atomic Elf requires you to destroy these turrets before you can damage him, and the Steam Annihilator has to be destroyed before it reaches the end of the room. Mecha Santa has the most going for it, as he has many different attacks, but that all depends on the difficulty that you're playing on. That's another thing that increases the replayability. The difficulty you select at the beginning determines the amount of lives you have, while also making enemies and bosses harder. The higher the difficulty, the faster the enemies and bullets are. Bosses will have desperation attacks after you beat them, if you're on the hardest difficulty. But I can't show you that because I'm not that good. To help aid such challenges are a multitude of power-ups that may appear from destroying enemies. You have Speed, which increases Princess Peach's movement and firing speed. Power, which powers up each weapon. Catalyte has 2 cats that absorb bullets, destroy enemies, and fire bricks all around. There is Triple, which gives you a spread shot, and Hyper, which gives you gold explosive bricks of destruction. Funnily enough, these are almost exactly like the power-ups in Operation Carnage. There are some unique things to Hyper Princess Peach though. There are 3 other Hyper power-ups that are so rare that I didn't fight a single one during all the time I spent with the game. There's also Cat Strike, which calls in Cat Strike to airstrike the area, and the Bow Bomb that explodes into a ring of rainbow lasers. You can also find these power-ups beneath X marks on the floor, but to unearth these, you'll have to know a certain secret. The Counter Pile Driver. This is really the only defensive move in the game that you can perform. By pressing either up, down, right, then left, or up, down, left, then right, Princess Peach will go into a counter stance. It only lasts for about a second, but you'll block any bullets that hit you. If an enemy happens to touch you, Princess Peach will grab them and launch straight into the air before pile driving them into the ground. A move I love to do, but find it kinda counterproductive. Something as awesome and explosive like this I'd expect would be best to perform on a large group of enemies, but I find that I always end up taking damage. It's better just to throw the enemy you've grabbed by pressing left or right while up in the air. This is just one of many secrets in the game. You'll discover new ones by completing the game on harder difficulties. But just like in EG, you actually have access to all of them from the beginning. Like performing a Princess Buster on a boss, or unlocking the secret level. Level X is a special level that's just full of enemies, like these weird space Nyords. The only reason to go here is to find the Goddess of Explosions, who's actually Princess Peach's mom. You can actually summon her to completely nuke a room, if you happen to know the secret code. Fighting the Goddess of Explosions is the only way to unlock the good ending of the game. Skip here if you don't want to spoil this ending. I'm sure you'll get quite a kick out of it. Now I say good ending, but it'd be more fitting to say awesome ending. Once you make it to the end of level 4, you'll face off against Mecha Santa, who is definitely the most challenging boss in the game. He's got a plethora of attacks that he loves to shout the names out of. I personally like the Pew Pew Salsa. Anyways, after defeating him, Princess Peach goes in for the final blow, when suddenly, Mecha Santa gives her a gift. Crying tears of sadness, Princess Peach accepts her gift, and flies home on Cat Strike, all sullen at the destruction she's caused. Then her present explodes. Realizing that she's been tricked, Princess Peach flies back to Mecha Santa and finishes him off by performing the
Galactic Princess Buster!
Not only does it destroy Mecha Santa, but it destroys his entire factory, the explosion being so big that it pushes the Earth out of orbit into the sun, causing another explosion so big that it not only destroys the solar system, but the entire galaxy itself!
Awesome.
And that's really all you can say about Hyper Princess Peach. Awesome. Like seriously, how can you get a more explosive ending than that? By putting in the cheat code for more explosions! Whew. Oh, I gotta tell you guys, like, this is unscripted right now. Like, what I'm saying, like, you can tell because it's kind of not sounding really good. I want to thank you for watching my video, this video, and probably some of the previous ones if you haven't checked them out. But I do want to thank you guys, those who have watched them, for watching them. It actually really does mean a lot to me. I've gone from making one video in 5 years to making 5 videos in 1 year, and that's astounding to me. And I honestly couldn't be able to do this if I didn't have people, watching the videos. I mean, I don't have a lot, but just having anybody watching them, it just feels so great. And I just want to say thank you. There's gonna be plenty more to come in the next year. Way more than 5 videos, I'll tell you that. If I can, get my butt into making them. Which, I will be doing that. So, I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, guys, for watching my videos for this year. So, I will see you guys next time, in the next year. Yeah, I don't even want to do the proper ending. See you guys next year.